distinguished service and contribution towards promoting South Africa's national interests and values abroad. For more on this, we cross live to our reporter in Cape Town at the ICC, Thule Joka. Thule, what's happening right now?
Well, Francis, I can definitely tell you now, since we last spoke, it is quite a hive of activity right here. Most international delegates and also African leaders are making their way here. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation is celebrating patriotism of South Africa. The theme for this year is diplomacy in excellency. They are celebrating integrity, the passion, and also all the elements that make South Africa to celebrate and uplift their values and also some of their interests. The Minister of International Relations and Cooperation is here. She will be awarding some of those individuals that have made strides and put South Africa on the map and project that good image of South Africa. But I will be bringing the Minister here to talk to us about the significance of the event since you launched it about 6 years ago. Just talk to us about this event, its importance, and what you are trying to achieve.
Well, I think, for South Africa, it's always important to begin by recalling that our struggle for freedom was supported very, very massively through international solidarity. That we are a country that went out into the world to ask others to recognize that we had a crime against humanity in South Africa and that it was important for them to join us in the struggle for freedom, because this would be an illustration of their recognition that every person deserves dignity and access to human rights. This is the essence of Ubuntu. So this award, Ubuntu Awards, celebrate the humanity of South Africans as they link up with the rest of the world and provide services, support, and global solidarity in the work that they do. So it might be through a foundation that provides education to young people, whatever their nationality, or it may very well be a leader who has worked hard to build peace in different parts of the world. All of these illustrate this amazing characteristic of the South African struggle for freedom, of international solidarity, that our freedom and our desire for it wasn't just for ourselves, but it was that all of us in the world must join in, and wherever others struggle, we should be there to lend support as well.
And also some of the recipients that will be receiving awards here today. Can you just sneak peek?
I don't want to spoil our event. I'd like really the special people that will receive awards who have been selected by a panel of eminent persons who serve as a judging panel for us. Nominations are invited just over 3-4 months ago, and then the public is able to nominate, and our panel looks at various criteria, the contribution of the individuals, their standing, both in the domestic domain as well as internationally. It might be the continent or indeed the globe. So we have such caliber of individuals that will be recognized today.
And also some of the African countries that are here, there's been a concern about the debt that these countries are owing to some of the international countries, that they might be losing their sovereignty. When you are talking to them and engaging with them, what are some of your concerns and how are you trying to engage with them, especially talking about this patriotism and also this passion and togetherness here?
Well, we provide assistance to missions as is done internationally. We have publicly challenged the Tshwane Metro for the statement they've made that missions are owing them money. As far as we're concerned, we have been paying, as have missions, where there's a need to pay off a debt. we work very closely with all the embassies, and we're actually surprised that the Tshwane Metro referred to us, because as far as we're concerned, we as a department and the embassies are good payers.
Also, we do have national honors that also include some of the outside and foreign countries. And also, isn't this a duplication of also celebrating people from outside of our borders as well?
Well, I think excellence must be celebrated all the time, and it doesn't matter where. If people are making important contributions, that contribution must be recognized. But you'll see from some of the awardees tonight that they're not people who are well known, whose name would be in the press every day, but we know that they're doing amazing work, and the people who've nominated them are aware that they fit the values and principles that we recognize as part of the Ubuntu Awards. So we believe all the people that will be announced today are deserving winners.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the event.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it as well.
Well, Minister of Department of International Relations and Cooperation, Naledi Pandor, just talking to us about the awards that are set to take place here tonight, saying there will never be enough celebration of people, especially when they are coming from outside or inside the country. They are promoting the spirit of togetherness and also the patriotism within the African context. This saying, of course, the head department and South Africa also trying to help and intervene in some of those African countries. Talk about a number of issues. He couldn't talk to us about some of the recipients tonight, but I've seen Master KG, who made waves about his song Jerusalem throughout last year internationally. He's just made his way inside here. And also, I heard the name of Mr. Pitso Musimane, who's at the Club World Cup Nationals. He will also, maybe he also will be a recipient here tonight. These are the recipients, these are the delegates who have come to attend this glorious event here, as South Africa is trying to promote togetherness and oneness within the African continent. Francis.
Thank you very much, Tule Joka. And yes, the names, we have some hints there, but all will be revealed from about 7 o'clock, where we'll take you live to the International Convention Centre as that event gets underway. Simon.
Can be seated.
Hello. Juanita Moons. Let's go. Master KG. Everybody, let's go.
Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami,
you guys there? Boss.
Ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana
Let's go.
buso wami
Are you ready?
awukholana
Let's go.
ilondoloze
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami.
I want to hear everybody sing along. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Boss. 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 Juanita boys. I want to hear everybody sing with me. Are you guys ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go.
Ilondoloze
Sing along. I can't hear you.
zungangishilana ilondoloze 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 zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami.
It was on Sunday afternoon, sitting in the Pacola Park. The sun was streaming through the leaves. Lovers were strolling up and down. Here come a beauty Katindi. She comes from North going the south. Over Mama,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 6th Annual Ubuntu Awards. Your presenters for this evening are Mr. Aldrin Sampier and Ms. Tumelo Mototwane.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, everybody. Let's give another round of applause to Master KG.
Yeah.
I argue that Jerusalem is definitely an international song, and having so many diplomats here, I could see some of them moving a bit, but I think we need to work on the movements a little bit.
I agree. We definitely saw you on candid camera, so watch out, watch out.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to be here on behalf of our official host this evening, the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor. I would like to welcome you all to the 6th Annual Ubuntu Awards 2022, hosted to celebrate excellence in diplomacy and to honor the men and women, companies and organizations that fly the South African flag high on the global stage, just like Master KG, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So shout out to all the sponsors who have partnered with DIRCO to make this event possible. Let me also welcome our viewers from across the continent on SABC's News Channel 404, as well as listeners of Ubuntu Radio and those following this event on social media platforms. With me to help present this evening's very, very exciting lineup, a woman who has captured the hearts. Once upon a time, she captured my heart as well.
All lies.
That's very, very true. She, by the way, she held my hand when I first did my first ever news anchor job on SABC News. This lady over here. Please give her a round of applause. True South African. She pulled me up. Tumelo Mututwane, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Aldrin. I appreciate it indeed. And I mean, I feel so lucky, ladies and gentlemen, to be here presenting these awards with you tonight. One of, the greatest platforms, I think, to have this engagement, but also doing it with one of the best talents in the country.
Say more.
I love you too.
You can't stop there. Come on.
You're handsome.
Okay. You flatter me, Tumelo. I'm equally thrilled to bring this, to be with you on this particular stage, and there's no technical director telling you to look left, look right.
No.
Camera 5, camera 6.
We got this. We got this.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. But before we get into, of course, our evening's proceedings, just a few housekeeping rules that we would like to, of course, make mention of. If you would like to use the ladies or the gents, you can just simply go outside, turn to your left. On the far right, you will see, of course, the gents and then the ladies.
And of course, when it comes to the speeches, so I was saying earlier on as we were preparing for this evening's event, during the lockdown, when we actually had curfew, it was much easier to say, hey guys, we need to be quick with the speeches because we need to make sure that we're out of the venue before curfew hits. So there's no curfew. However, though, I'm going to ask all of our recipients this evening, only 2 minutes. Use your 2 minutes wisely.
Yes. Please, we know we've got Master KG to dance, but please, you only have 2 minutes for your acceptance speech. But also, all health protocols are observed. Please make use of your sanitizers. I mean, the World Health Organization is watching, so please, let's behave.
Let's impress Dr. Tedros. Come on, let's do it, guys. Let's show him how we do it in South Africa.
Absolutely, Aldrin. But the last 2 years also have been quite tough on our country. I'm sure you would agree, the continent as well, and the rest of the world. Now, the COVID-19 global pandemic has had quite a devastating impact on all of us and our livelihoods. But we're honored tonight to have in our midst a special guest in Her Excellency, Dr. Naledi Pandor, but also a man who has been leading the fight against this global pandemic, the very first African to actually occupy this position, ladies and gentlemen. Excellencies, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, of course, the Director General of the World Health Organization, is also here with us tonight. A warm round of applause. Well, of course, as you can see, sir, we just want to appreciate you joining us this evening. But we are, of course, complying with all COVID-19 protocols. And we would like to also thank you for your inspirational leadership during these trying times. I mean, hopefully, as more and more people do get vaccinated, we can, of course, get our lives back to normal.
Indeed, Tumelo, most, if not all, of the nominees this evening are being recognized for the work done in many ways in response and related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, there has been many losses, but this difficult journey has also produced heroes and heroines, and tonight is about celebrating and recognizing them.
Absolutely. And speaking of achievements, you would recall President Cyril Ramaphosa was actually the chairperson of the African Union back in 2020 at the height of this global pandemic. But let me remind you of some of the milestones under South Africa's leadership. Now, the African Vaccine Acquisition Task Team, also known as AVIT, was established then. And to date, Aldrin, the African Union has also secured 1 billion doses of vaccines through the AVIT's efforts. I mean, the African Union also establishing that African Medical Supplies Platform, as well as, of course, the Continental COVID-19 Response Fund. So, okay, I know I'm gloating a bit about South Africa and Africa as a whole, but there's more to it, but I'll stop here.
Of course, it doesn't stop there, right? Very impressive. And our diplomatic achievements don't stop there. Here, that at least last week, was it, when the AU Summit took place, South Africa, again, was elected to serve in the African Union's Peace and Security Council.
A round of applause. That's right. And that's why we are here tonight, to recognize, to honor, to celebrate those who fly our country's flag quite high and also on a global stage, ladies and gentlemen. Excellence is exactly what defines the winners of this year's Ubuntu Awards. And for those of you who have not watched the awards before, well, let me give you just a bit of a background.
She's been here forever, by the way.
Well, he calls me the veteran of the Ubuntu Awards.
She's the founding MC of this event back in 2015.
My goodness, did you have to? But you're right. As the seasoned MC of the Ubuntu Awards, let me tell you about this. They were introduced by Durko back in 2015. This in order to, of course, recognize organizations and individuals that through excellence in their chosen fields have projected quite a positive image of South Africa across the globe. But in sport, in arts and culture, in social responsibility, business, or even as a youth ambassador, we've seen, of course, these milestones.
And because of the work of these organizations and individuals, South Africa, to put it simply, looks very, very good. Through their successes and determination, they fly the South African flag high, reinforcing the brand of humanity and Ubuntu for which our country is renowned for.
Absolutely. And when one looks at some of the previous winners and recipients, they do indeed epitomize the ethos of Ubuntu, be it in humility, of Ruth Mompati, the generosity of Gift of the Givers, the passion of the late Brahu Masekela, the creativity of Mama Esther Mahlangu, the consummate professionalism of Kasta Seminya, or even the musical genius of Miss Pretty Yende.
Give me a do re fa si la ti do.
Do re.
No, it meant do.
Mum Pretty Yende, I'm so sorry. I mean, I've been put on the spot here. I tried.
You did. So before we get to today's business, let's welcome our host, the South Africa's Chief Diplomat, Her Excellency Dr. Naledi Pandor, the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, to come and address us.
Program directors, Minister Mthethwa, Deputy Minister Mashiko Dlamini, Deputy Minister Botus, and of course your partner, and dear colleagues present here this evening, my dear sister and new friend, Minister, we welcome you. Minister of Social Development of Belgium, Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on International Relations, Mr. Supra Mahumapelo, Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners, all officials and members of the diplomatic corps, captains of industry, and our Ubuntu Awards partners, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to begin by welcoming you all on behalf of my department to this important occasion. The annual Ubuntu Awards, as the program directors have said, is an important and strategic platform that allows South Africans to see and connect the dots between what our diplomats do all over the world and how that translates into improving the life of the man and woman in the street and the lives of our people in every corner of our country. The white paper on South Africa's foreign policy refers to this interesting concept, Ubuntu. South Africa, as a country and a society, is a multifaceted, multicultural, and multiracial country. We don't often use the term multiracial, but you understand what I mean. We're a country that embraces the concept of Ubuntu as a way of defining who we are and how we relate to others. The philosophy of Ubuntu essentially translates in meaning to the notion humanity and is reflected in the idea that we affirm our humanity when we affirm the humanity of others. This concept has played a major role in forging a South Africa that has a national consciousness that reaches out to this notion of a joint humanity. And I think it has been a very important, an important unifying concept as we set about this challenging democratic transformation of our country and this, at times, I think, implausible and difficult task of building a nation united in its diversity. Since 1994, the international community has looked to South Africa to play a leading role in championing values of human rights, of democracy, of reconciliation, and the eradication of poverty and underdevelopment. These are such important principles and values that South Africa holds dear that I think we should never tire of promoting them. I can't recall how many times I sound really boring when my colleagues who live in conflict-ridden countries come and speak to me about the challenge of conflict. And I say to them, you must look to reconciliation. You have to negotiate. You must be inclusive. Draw the differing parties together. And in many of the countries, they look at me like I'm really crazy. And I say to them, we did it with those we believed were our enemies. You are brother and sister, you can do it too. It's a very important lessons and values for us that we should make much more of as we engage with the world. We believe very firmly that South Africa has risen to the challenge of these tasks and continues to make a meaningful contribution in the pursuit of these goals in our region, on the continent, and globally. We have a somewhat unique approach to global issues, which I think derives from that concept Ubuntu. It informs the approach that we use when we engage in international relations matters, and it shapes our notion as South Africa that it is possible to build a better world. It translates into an approach to international relations where we try to show that we respect all nations, all people, and all cultures. We introduced the Ubuntu Awards to recognize South African citizens and organizations that fly the South African flag high on the global stage. Through excelling in their chosen fields, these patriots have become our country's ambassadors. When the world sees them, they see South Africa. I wish to take the opportunity to congratulate all the nominees, as well as those who are winners tonight. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for going out of your way to make South Africa look good. And I might tell you, South Africans, that often you look at the bad where you are at home, but you'll be surprised how good you look internationally. I'm often amazed at how we are received out there. It's actually quite incredible. This occasion, in our view, shows that our international relations work is not the exclusive domain of government and its entities. It also involves participation by our citizens. Pritiende has been mentioned, and various other citizens. The accolades I continue to receive about Archbishop Desmond Tutu, may his soul rest in peace, are absolutely amazing. The recognition that the founding leader of our democracy, President Mandela, continues to enjoy just show the status. We also, I think, through such an award, which goes to nominees that are nominated by the public, not by us, also shows that we continue to be a participatory democracy, because we get submissions from all over. Everyone is interested in these awards. So let me conclude by encouraging others to really take up the inspirational actions of the individuals and organizations that will be recognized here tonight. Let's try and mirror their action. Let's try and copy what they do. Let's try to be humane to others. Our country, as our president said in his State of the Nation address just 2 days ago, is a beautiful country with wonderful, resilient people. Working together and through small individual efforts in everyday life, we can all contribute to the bigger goal of building a winning nation that takes care of the needs of all our people. And as our president said, we should take care of all our people by ensuring that each step of the way we leave no one behind. This is critical, that everybody must feel included, everyone must feel that they matter. And I believe through the Ubuntu Awards, we're showing that many, many people doing great things matter to all of us. I wish to thank all their excellencies and our distinguished guests for being with us tonight. I know Dr. Tedros and Minister Kiri, you've had a very busy day, and I'm really grateful that you have chosen to join us this evening, and I hope you will enjoy the evening. I'm also really, really thrilled that so many of their excellencies, our ambassadors and high commissioners, are here. I know many are afraid because they think there won't be social distancing, or they won't be able to sanitize, or some such, I don't know. I do think we need to find small ways of beginning to live again. And your presence here shows me that you indeed do want to live again. And let us continue living. Thank you very much for being here.
Minister, thank you so much for your words affirming the importance of these events, but also emphasizing, Aldrin, I'm sure you would agree, that we're all ambassadors, and also reflecting on the President's State of the Nation address just recently that we should not leave anyone behind. And I think with all our ambassadors, South African, continental, are ensuring that they represent where they come from, their ethos, and they don't leave their countries and nations behind.
Well, you know, one of the things that I have on my Twitter feed, I think it's my profile. My profile says that Ubuntu is an ideology. I personally believe that it's an ideology. When you think of capitalism as an ideology, surely we should be thinking of Ubuntu as an ideology as well. It's not just a saying. It's the very embodiment that says that we are human beings, and I'm a human being because you are a human being. And totally agree with what the minister says.
Yeah.
Pull each other up. Don't leave anyone behind.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived. Our first award is for economic diplomacy. Diplomacy is not just about building and nurturing relations with other countries. It's also about forging strong economic ties and paving a way for businesses in line with the African agenda. South Africa places its inter-African trade and regional economic integration high on the list of its priorities.
Absolutely. Economic diplomacy is the use of the full spectrum of economic tools to help us all achieve our nation's interests. Now, these activities, which include export, import, investment, and free trade agreements, are further bolstered by the private sector companies that do business on our continent. Now, the private sector is valued as a partner of government, and when we work together, both at home and abroad, there is little that we cannot accomplish.
The company that will be presenting this award has a pan-African footprint, which is quite impressive. Launched in 1994, you know that that's the year that South Africa officially became a democracy. The MTN Group is a leading emerging marketer, operator whose strategic intent is to lead digital solutions for Africa's progress. MTN operates in 19 countries across Africa and the Middle East and has, listen to this, 272 million subscribers across its operations. I was asking Tumelo earlier on, can you count up until 272
I can
million?
count until my followers on social media. I think they're about 5. Jeez, MTN.
And these subscribers are in countries like Benin, Botswana, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea Republic, Liberia, Nigeria, the Republic of Congo or Congo-Brazzaville, Rwanda, South Africa, Sudan, Eswatini, Uganda, and Zambia. To present the 2022 Ubuntu Award in Economic Diplomacy in Africa, please welcome to the stage Mr. Wanda Matandela, Chief Enterprise Business Officer at MTN South Africa.
Get out the friend zone. Ask him out.
No, they win. Just Momo it.
Voice.
Tough times never last. Only tough people last.
We had no idea the year would do what it did. But guys,
can you tell me what you're waiting for? Assemble again. Let's go.
Live, work, and play on Zanzibar's network.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for affording me the opportunity to hand over this special award. We at MTN, we know the benefits of having cross-border operation, and we therefore have the utmost respect for the company that has won this year's Ubuntu Economic Diplomacy Award. This year's winner is Old Mutual.
Old Mutual is South Africa's oldest and most established insurance company and has been in operation for more than 175 years. Started by the famed human rights activist John Fairbairn in the Cape of Good Hope in 1845, it has grown into a global success story, employing more than 30,000 people in 13 African countries. bringing insurance services, financial products, and peace of mind to hundreds of millions of people across the country. It is a Level 1 BEE entity that is making a positive impact in the communities and countries it operates in, championing financial inclusion, education, and responsible investment. We proudly present this year's Ubuntu Award for Economic Diplomacy Africa to Old Mutual.
Apparently, I'm required to say a few words in recognition of this incredible privilege. And again, the directions were very specific. 2 minutes, be brief, and get off the stage. So with that, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about Old Mutual's history, but simply to recognize that our reason for existence gives us the ability to do some of the things we receive this award for. What we do is we pool the savings of millions of South Africans and indeed Africans across the continent, and we deploy those savings into projects, ideas, businesses that we think can generate an acceptable return for them, but again, very importantly, doing it in a way that we think can generate sustainable impact and sustainable development. The other thing that we do is that we pool the risks that we all face, whether that's the risk that as you walk out of here, your car might not be there when you get there, whether it's the risk that a loved one succumbs to an unexpected ailment. We pool all those risks and we make sure that we're there for those people when they need us most. And to give you some sense of how we do that, and as a consequence, what gives us the ability to be so meaningful a partner in this country and overseas, and on the continent. I mean, if I look at, let's say, an average 12-month period, we pay out claims in the range of, call it, 90 billion rand. That's the value that our clients require us to make available when they need us. And then on the investment side, if you think of building bridges, roads, renewable energy projects, supporting entrepreneurs, you know, the quantum of investment, this is not our money. This is custody of other people's money. That's just under R1 trillion. So we can only do these things because we partner, as we said, with everyone from all walks of life. So we want to thank you and appreciate kind of the recognition you've given us, and congratulations to the other winners. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations to you, Old Mutual, and thank you for setting the standard about timekeeping. African Time's credibility has been restored. Thank you so much, gentle brother, because there was a planned Oscar polite music. You know, at the Oscars, when you take time, there's music that is channeled to politely say, we heard you loud and clear.
Just a nudge to like, hey, listen, your time is over.
Well, congratulations to you, Old Mutual. Now, with that being said, I mean, I have to say, that's an inspirational organization admired by so many. And we know that with the advent of technology and the strides that are currently being made in the fields of international relations and business, in the arts and culture, the world is getting smaller and smaller every single day. Now, the concept of a global village, it seems to be quite more real than it ever has been.
And as we stand here this evening, this event is being beamed into millions of living rooms throughout Africa on the SABC News Channel 404. That's my home, by the way. With the click of a button, we can interact with people from all different walks of life. In seconds, we can do what a few decades ago would have taken hours and sometimes even days to accomplish. And COVID-19, as we all know, has forced everyone to meet, study, and work virtually. So working really didn't necessarily stop.
No.
Technology responded to make sure that we continue working.
Right on time, didn't it? And as the globe, of course, shrinks, so do some of the barriers to do business. And of course, the way in which South African companies conduct their businesses globally has quite a huge impact on the way that South Africa is viewed as a country in the countries with which they operate. Now, that is why, ladies and gentlemen, the Global Ubuntu Economic Diplomacy, which we're about to, of course, hand out, is given to an organization that is proudly South African and bolsters our reputation as a country known for excellence.
And here to present our next award is the Chief Executive Officer of BMW Group South Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, Mr. Peter van Bensberg. With its 31 production and assembly facilities in 15 countries, as well as a global sales network, BMW is the world's leading manufacturer of premium automobiles and motorcycles and a provider of premium financial and mobility services. BMW also has been a major investor in South Africa and its people for close to 50 years. Its footprint in South Africa includes a production facility in Rosslyn, also a national sales company, also a bank and an IT hub, and is committed to the growth and development of this country and her people.
This joy is electric. This joy is electric and you're circuiting through. I'm so happy that I'm alive. Happy I'm alive at the same time as you, 'cause you've got a higher power. Got me singing every second, dancing every hour. Oh yeah, you've got a higher power.
Minister Pandor, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege for me to introduce this award to you this evening. This company has a long list of successes and landmarks. And I think when I give you a few examples this evening, you'll agree with me that these are firmly in the spirit of Ubuntu. This company is the biggest producer of pharmaceuticals on the African continent. They have an agreement with Johnson & Johnson to package and fill vials of COVID-19 vaccines in their plant in South Africa, in Gqeberha, and have produced over 100 million doses year to date, most of those serving the African continent. But more so, they have signed a groundbreaking agreement to manufacture and sell their own branded COVID-19 vaccines in Africa, being granted an intellectual property license by Johnson & Johnson to produce a vaccine under their own new brand name, Aspenovax. Now, this is in line with the TRIPS waiver that South Africa has been calling for at the World Trade Organization, and I think it's a victory for us all on the African continent. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've guessed it. The winner of the Ubuntu Economic Diplomacy Award Global is Aspen Pharmacare. So on the stage, please, Mr. Stavros Nicolaou, Senior Executive for Strategic Trade at Aspen. Mr. Nicolaou, the stage is yours.
When the first COVID vaccines were developed and supplied, Africa was once again at the bottom of the global priority list. Aspen Pharmacare stepped in to build Africa's first vaccine manufacturing plant, ensuring not only that South Africans would have access to vaccines, but that the whole of Africa would have speedy access to this life-saving intervention. The plant in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape is the first of its kind in Africa. Although it is a truly global business operating in 50 countries, it remains true to its South African roots. Ubuntu is at the heart of the way it operates, and it is a very deserving winner of this year's Ubuntu Award for Economic Diplomacy, Global.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Well, thank you. Stavros, I apologize. As Stephen Sardia, I decided that this award was a real honor for Aspen, and it's a real honor to actually be here for the second time. Sometimes you feel unfair to have won this award on a second occasion or on any occasion, because as a company we feel particularly blessed. You know, the reward for Aspen is in what we do every day. We are very much a purpose-driven company, and we are fortunate to have the opportunity, because I think that's what makes business and life sustainable, is when you can contribute meaningfully to society. And this is something that we at Aspen have been blessed with every day. You know, I think although we are probably South Africa's most globally diverse company, we've got maybe 70 operations around the world, our focus and our love and our commitment has always been to South Africa and to our African continent. We're very privileged to live here, and we have demonstrated this through the investments that we have made in our own country. So as we've globalized, we've continued to invest more and more in South Africa. And And as we've got bigger and we've invested more, we've created more capacities and capabilities and more confidence in our capabilities. And our sterile facility that we've built over the last 5 years has been a really large investment for us, and it will give South Africa the opportunity to have its own anesthetics. And thank you for earlier the comments around the vaccine. I think that for a small company in pharmaceutical multinational terms, at the tip of Africa, we're really proud with what we've contributed to humanity. You know, this is the second pandemic we've been through. We were at the forefront of antiretrovirals. During the COVID era, we were involved in dexamethasone. We were a massive supplier of anesthetics, and of course the COVID vaccine that we made on behalf of J&J. And we've now made 160 million doses, and almost every one of those have gone to Africa. I think our continent, we really are excited about the opportunity of a Spinovax. It's something we're proud of. It's something we've worked really hard to get, and it's our continent's very own vaccine, made in Africa, for Africa, using African expertise. I mean, what more could you ask for? So I just want to take this chance. Thank you. Thank you for that. I know Dr. Tedros down there has been our biggest supporter, so if anyone deserves a round of applause, it's him. He's been fantastic, so thank you for that, Doc. Thank you. I want to say a special thank you. You know, you sit at these awards, and we've been at home during COVID. I want to say a special thank you to our teams at Quebeca. These guys had no COVID. There was no ability sorry, we're going to self-isolate or anything. They have been tirelessly working to save a continent together with J&J. And our entire continent owes them a debt of gratitude. Thank you so much to that team. So I always feel very strongly about that, and we've had fantastic, and we've lost people at that site, you know. There's people that sacrificed their lives for us to be here. You know, for those that don't know the Aspen story, it's a story where we started from a very humble home in Durban. But at all stages, we never forgot our roots, and our roots are deep in African soil. And we could never ever have dreamed of being here today. Our mojo in Aspen is a very simple one. Rest is rust, because we know we've still got so much to do. And as our journey to capacitate Africa and ensuring that Africa is no longer subject to the terrible inequalities we've seen in vaccines, we're going to be here only for a short while because we've got so much more work to do. And I promise you, we've got lots to do in Africa, and we will be at the forefront to help deliver that for Africa. So thank you so much. We appreciate this award so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aspen. Thank you so much, Stephen Sard. And I have to say, quite commendable, especially at the rate that we urgently needed, you know, assistance, intervention. And I have to say, Aspen is one of those, companies that came to the forefront right here in South Africa and the continent to ensure that the call was heeded.
Yeah. And I guess with what was just said, again, can we give a round of applause, though, to South Africa for that push, for that waiver? Hey, we've really pushed hard. With the World Trade Organization, and hopefully things will happen. Hopefully things will happen. We're crossing fingers. Minister, right?
That's a commitment. All right. So congratulations to you, Aspen. Now, the next category is for social responsibility. The company that will be presenting this award is no stranger to social responsibility. Vodacom recognizes that their employees and customers are part of the very same communities and are therefore committed to finding ways of ensuring that they do indeed uplift those communities. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since 1999, the Vodacom Foundation has dedicated themselves to building solid relationships with respected non-profit organizations who, of course, help them to invest more than 600 million rand into a wide range of worthy community causes. Ambassador Daki Nechidenge, please join us to the stage.
Good evening. It is my honor to be handing over this year's Ubuntu Social Responsibility Award to the most deserving individual whose work empowers women and the girl child in the SADC region and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Nomso Faith Kana.
Nomso Kana is a nuclear scientist by trade and a founder of several startups. She undertook specialized training to be a medical biology scientist at the National Health Laboratory Services ascribed by the Health Profession Council of SA. After the medical sciences involvement, Kana has worked as a nuclear scientist in a leading role for the South African Nuclear Corporation, NECSA. She is a South African delegation leader for the World Sustainability Energy Forum, based in Vienna, Austria, contributing towards sustainable solutions in mobility, energy, environment, waste management, and community for cities around the globe. She drives UN women-endorsed programs that empower women and the girl child in the SADC. We are proud to award her this year's Ubuntu Social Responsibility Award.
I'm sure you're saying, finally, a fine suit on stage. Good evening, everyone. I immensely received this award, which I dedicate to my late father, and also the girls that I meet in the SADC regions that are from rural areas with so much interest in science. And, you know, you could just sense from them that they really want to contribute to the growth of our continent, not just being citizens, but also economically participate. And, you know, part of the work that I do is I co-lead a team of other technocrats, if I can call them that, where we are called Africa for AI. And this is where we believe that also our generation will lead in the artificial intelligence model generation. So that means Africa and our country, obviously, will not just consume in this era that we're in called 4IR, we'll also participate, innovate, and also generate ideas that can really put our continent in the forefront. With that being said, I would like to really thank the awarding, or rather DECO and the minister, and all the ministers present for this award, and also to appreciate what it does to me as it propels me to continue with my efforts. Thank you so much.
There you go. Congratulations.
Are you okay? Help them themselves, okay? Stop.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Alden, and congratulations once more, of course, to our recipient. Quite inspiring to seeing, you know, women taking charge in this country. Gone are the days of being passive. We're seeing contributors,
Did
right?
you see her mask, though?
I saw the mask.
Nomsa? The mask? Yes, very, very nice. Very proudly South African, by the way. Amaxhosa, that's one of our brands that we really celebrate in the country. So, be it rugby or soccer, swimming, netball, boxing, you name it, any given weekend, you will see throngs of South Africans gathered in pubs, stadiums, halls, or even just at home, eager to see their favorite sports teams hash it out on the field. Sports is a powerful force to foster social cohesion, and as Minister Natim told, sometimes it also leads to tears.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it also leads to tears.
Absolutely. And here to present the Ubuntu Sports Diplomacy Award is Ms. Samantha Klingham, the Operations Director at Tsorosan. Now, just to give you a brief background of Tsorosan Hotels, well, they're the leading hospitality company in Southern Africa, combining, of course, an established 50-year Listen, 50 years of heritage, professional, energized approaches we've seen from Tsogosan. The group proudly encompasses over 100 hotels across the sectors of the market in South Africa, in the Seychelles, as well as the Middle East. Now, the award-winning hotels and resorts are rated for quality in their categories, and their portfolio, of course, includes elegant, individually branded luxury hotels. A round of applause for Ms. Samantha Clingham.
Thank you, Aldrin and Tumelo. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's Ubuntu Diplomacy Award must be the easiest of the judges to have picked this year. Congratulations to the most decorated South African football coach in our lifetime, Pitso Motsamani.
Pitso Mosimani's football career started as a junior with the Rockville Hungry Lions, before he went on to play for Jomo Cosmos, Mamelodi Sundowns, and Orlando Pirates, then leaving to play in Europe and the Middle East. He returned home, where he has coached at SuperSport United, Mamelodi Sundowns, and our national team, and is generally regarded as the most successful coach in the country. He was chosen to coach the Egyptian side Al Ahly, who, based on number of trophies, is the most successful soccer club in the world. He is the first non-Egyptian to coach this side. He led Al Ahly to 2 CAF Champions League titles, the Egyptian Cup, their 9th CAF Champions League title, to qualify for the 2020 FIFA World Cup, and won the African Super Cup in Doha. He is widely recognized as one of the best coaches in the world. We are proud to present you with this year's Ubuntu Award for Sports Diplomacy.
Here to collect the award on behalf of Coach Mosimani, the Managing Director of MT Sport, Ms. Moria Tukhali.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Minister, I have delegated this responsibility to the young youth with me, my son, so he'll take over.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kopana Sukhwale, and I'm Coach Pitso Mosimani's son. And yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't able to be with us today because he's actually at the FIFA Club World Cup, which he actually won today 4-0 to win bronze medal. Thank you. Yes, and he actually has a video that he's going to play from us from Abu Dhabi.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. President, Minister of International Relations and Corporations, ministers in the presidency, special guests, all protocol observed. I'm saddened that I'm unable to join you this evening. However, as you know, I'm in Abu Dhabi with my team, Al Ahly Sports Club, competing in the FIFA Club World Cup. Thank you so much for this honor of being a recipient of the Ubuntu Sports Diplomacy Award. The Ubuntu Awards have grown over the years, and it is wonderful to know that I'm counted amongst the previous winners in my category, such as Wade van Niekerk, Amanda Dlamini, the Springboks. Sports has been known to be a unifier of not only communities, but also nations. The way sports has positively built and contributed to the lives of those who participate in different sporting codes is immeasurable. I'm proud to be a South African who is able to represent my country internationally and to also encourage the world to look at South Africa with new eyes. We are a nation of leaders and pioneers. I will continue to do my part by proudly carrying the spirit of Ubuntu in all I do. Thank you to the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, the judges, my fellow nominees. May we also remember who we are and where we come from, wherever we go in the world.
Say cheese, give us a pizza Musamani smile there. Osmura, the work that you are doing, well done, Siswam. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done. And I just want to say also that Ntate Pito Musimani for me is such an inspiration. And every time that he has an interview, I'd listen to those interviews. And one of the things that I've taken away from him is, or taken from him rather, is invest in your gift, eh?
Yeah.
Invest in your talent. And that's what he has done at Al Ahly. He has invested in his talent. And when he spoke, for instance, in one interview about getting over the technical guys, getting in Egypt as well, and why it was important, and the conversation that he had with them was upskill. Upskill. So over 60% of Africa's population is young people, and young people are known for new ideas, innovation, energy, and creativity. The Ubuntu Youth Award goes to a young person between the ages of 15 to 35. Okay.
Am I really being asked my age on national television?
Okay, never mind. You're a youth.
I'm a youth card carrying member. That's all I have to say.
We still qualify. I think both of us still qualify. We both still qualify.
Yes.
So between the ages of 15 to 35, who through his or her actions and achievements has promoted South Africa as a dynamic country with an enabling environment for youth to thrive in their own way, contributed to making South Africa and the world a better place.
That is correct, Aldrin, and it's fitting that we have Aspen presenting this award. Please take the stage.
Ministers Pandor and Mtetwa, Dr. Tedros, Excellencies, it's indeed a great pleasure this evening to present the winner in the youth category. Of course, the youth category is immensely important to us at Aspen. After all, it is the youth that map out the future and hold the keys to the future of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure this evening to announce the winner in the youth category, who is none other than Lesego Finger. Congratulations.
Lesego Finger is a self-taught coder and entrepreneur who created the Matric Live mobile app to assist matriculants to prepare for their exams. Last year, he forfeited his own income from the app to make the app available for free to South African matriculants who are already struggling with the effects of the COVID lockdown on their exam preparations. For your generous spirit and commitment to helping improve education in Africa, we are proud to present you with the Ubuntu Award for Youth Diplomacy.
I'm so nervous. Yeah. You know, normally it's the app that gets the award, so I'm glad it's me now, you know. But you know, I have to say, you know, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here, the ministers. Thank you, guys. Thanks to the Ubuntu Youth Award, the Ubuntu Awards for the recognition. This is really great. You know, while I was growing up, I was considered to be very, 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 very naughty, and one of the things my mother did was to buy me a laptop because she was trying to contain that naughtiness, you know. So when I got that laptop, one of the things I did was to teach myself how to code, and that's pretty much what I did. I took the laptop, you know, type a few codes, and taught myself how to code, which was great because then that. Yeah. I remember it was just after I finished my matric in 2017, yeah. I was sitting on the bed and I was like, why don't I make an app that's going to provide learners with the resources I wish I had when I was doing my matric? So that pretty much led to the birth of Matric Life and the company that I started. Yeah, and prior to the pandemic, we were sitting at 10 to 50K users. But then when COVID-19 and lockdown hit, we skyrocketed to 500,000 learners, which was crazy for us, Truly crazy for us. It's like, oh, wow, exactly. And I think one of the things that really contributed to our expansion was that when I was pretty much working, and what I did is I resigned at work, and this was during a pandemic, so I literally forfeited my income. And the other thing I did was to uplift the subscription model we had on the app, so we pretty much made it free to the learners. And another thing is, one satisfied learner creates more satisfied learners. So 1 + 1 was 3, which was great, Exactly. So I don't want to take much time. I just want to thank my beautiful mother, because if it wasn't for you, who bought me the laptop, I wouldn't be standing here and providing such huge value. So thanks also to my team, my co-founder. Yeah, I'm lost of words, but thank you guys. Thank you. Cheers.
Don't forget your award. Clearly, he's not used to getting awards, as he said. He said it's the app that always gets the award, so that's the reason why he left the award.
Lesego, I have never heard anyone explaining that they lost an income with so much enthusiasm. Hi, I lost an income. Income gone, so pandemic. Lesego, where were you when we needed you and we were all sad? To shoot us up, congratulations.
Congratulations, Lesego. And Lesego, home is what? Orlando East, right? Born in Orlando East. Yeah, exactly. Born in Orlando East. Go guys. Ritz Puchari. Really? Mina was 16, ngase kago.
Jovicho.
Sisonke. We are representing. Well done, Lesego, for all you've done, and imagine doing all of that coding.
Wow.
At home.
Yeah.
No school. Teaching yourself.
I'm sure everyone who is Lesego's age or young are thinking, you were naughty, you started coding, and you're winning awards. Mama, give me a break. My naughtiness is taking me somewhere. Lesego, I mean, we might have found a role model in you tonight. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, moving right along with the program, I mean, one of the most highly anticipated awards of the evening is without a doubt this next one. It's the Cultural Diplomacy Award. And we all know how the first strain of a song can actually transport you into quite, a little time gone by. How a poem can bring you to tears, how a movie can literally change your life, or even a dance can lift your spirit. So theater, music, dance, art, poetry, film, these mediums are often windows that we all know into a country, society, its culture, its soul. But they're also often the very first glimpse that individuals get into the heart of a country.
And here to present to us the winner of the Ubuntu Cultural Diplomacy Veteran Award is Ms. Candice Mashiko Dlamini, the Deputy Minister of International Relations and Cooperation.
Thank you, program directors. There can be no doubt that the winner tonight possessed the qualities for which Ubuntu Awards were introduced to recognize. The winner in this category is an icon who embodies the values of integrity, passion, patriotism, and humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is a Pan-Africanist, poet, and activist, the legendary Don Matare.
Don Matera is one of the greatest writers of our time. He was born in the then Western Native Township and was raised in Sophiatown. Classified as an Italian, then later reclassified colored, and forcefully evicted to the suburb of Westbury. He later moved to Eldorado Park. He was placed under house arrest and tortured for his political activity. He is a founding member of the Black Consciousness Movement and joined the ANC Youth League. He helped form the Union of Black Journalists as well as the Congress of South African Writers. He worked as a journalist at the Sunday Times and worked his way up to an editorial position at the Sowetan and spent some time at the Weekly Mail. He remains an active member of his community, working with young people and the rehabilitation of prisoners. Matera is well known for his intervention in notorious gang wars, bringing a truce where he mentored youth to peaceful settlements. He has won countless literary awards, including the Steve Biko Prize for his autobiography, Memory is the Weapon. He was awarded the Order of the Baobab in Gold for excellent contribution to literature, achievement in the field of journalism, and striving for democracy and justice in South Africa. For your lifetime commitment to literature and journalism, we award you the Ubuntu Award for Cultural Diplomacy.
The son is receiving on behalf of the father.
He's look-alike.
It's look-alike. It's look-alike. Can you see?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very much.
Don't go.
Look at the
Let's
camera.
take it.
Thank you very much. Pass our regard to your father.
Well,
thank you.
I said I must make a short speech.
Yes.
Your Excellency, Dr. Naledi Pandor, Minister of Arts and Culture, Mr. Natim Tetwa, all protocols observed and acknowledged, all our international visitors, all honorary recipients tonight, we thank you for this wonderful gift that you're giving to Don Matera. They say, when you honor a man when he's alive, you give him a gift of love. On behalf of Dr. Donato Francesco Matera, we, as his children and his family, would like to thank you for the befitting honor being bestowed on him. AKA, son of the soil, Ma-Africa. Ubuntu is what Don Matera is made of. Don Matera epitomizes compassion. It's what he lives for. Don Matera loves children. He dies for children. He is the ambassador of the children's organization in South Africa. Don Matera says, love your children, don't hurt them, and equally love their mothers, because without them, they would not be. In ending, Don Matera says the following: life is a race. Before you run, turn, take somebody's hand and run with him. Don't leave your brothers or your sisters behind. I thank you.
Wow, what do you say after that?
Quite inspirational.
What do you say?
And we were actually having a chat a bit earlier on. Come.
Please.
Come.
Feed us
He
with
looks
your words.
so much like his dad,
Feed
by the
us,
way.
I know a very eloquent speaker in the house. That's Dr. Naledi Pandor. But I had one of our ex-presidents saying, he doesn't want to speak after Don Matera because there will be nothing left to say.
Is this where we say good evening, guys? Thank you so much.
Thank
It's been great.
Drops mic. We're done. Thank you so much, Ntate, for your warm words. So, ladies and gentlemen, here to now present the Ubuntu Cultural Diplomacy Youth Award, we would like to call onto the stage a graduate of the youth movement, the Deputy Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Mr. Alvin Boertes.
Thank you very much, Eldrin and Tumelo. Dr. Pando, Minister of Terco. The young ambassador had remarkable foresight, ladies and gentlemen, because in 2021, the African Union declared it as the year of the arts, culture, and heritage levels for building the Africa we want. The EU team recognized the key role the creative sector can play in promoting regional integration and economic growth as Africa emerged from the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. The creative industries will therefore play a key role in building a more resilient Africa by using the creative economy as a tool for prosperity. The winner of the Ubuntu Cultural Diplomacy Award is the young man, ladies and gentlemen, through universal acclamation, Master KG.
Jerusalem was a household hit in South Africa. This gospel-inspired track had South Africans grooving for the better part of 2020, helping lift our spirits during an incredibly challenging year. It got the world moving with the Jerusalem Dance Challenge, which had people all over the world dancing to our own uniquely South African steps. From our own COVID-19 healthcare workers to fans from every part of the world. The song garnered millions of views online and reached #1 in Belgium, Netherlands, Romania, and Switzerland, while peaking in the top 10 of multiple other European countries. For lifting our spirits and championing our music, we award Jerusalem the Ubuntu Youth Award for Cultural Diplomacy.
Dumelang Kamuka, Honorable Minister, I see you, Natim Teta, Dr. Naledi Pando, everyone in the house, Kaludumedisa, Mshimanwaka Mulimpopo. And I'm so honored today to be receiving this beautiful, amazing award. You know, I don't know how many awards I've received so far, more than 60 awards for this beautiful song. And one thing that, I would say is that I'm so grateful for, to create such a beautiful song made here in South Africa. It consists Zulu on it. It has Tsonga, Sepedi, and the song now is taken all over the world. People are loving it. I call it, this song I call it vaccine because it heals. I call it vaccine because everywhere in the world, it heals a lot of people out there. A lot of people are always sending me messages about how this song takes them to the next level. It keeps them going, especially during the difficult time that we had, the COVID-19 time. So I'm so grateful to be receiving this amazing award. And then also, I'm so proud as a South African, to have a song that has more than 500,000 views on YouTube, the first African song to do so to the world. Thank you guys so much.
Master!
Dr. Tedros, you know South Africa's good with, scientists, experts. Master KG has just found a vaccine. I mean, come on. Aspen, I know you're sitting there, you won your award, it's all fair and well. Dr. Tedros, World Health Organization. Come on, you heard it yourself.
So at the next press briefing, Dr. Tedros, can we please have an acknowledgement of the vaccine that has been created by our very own Master KG from Limpopo, and he can get it to you whenever you need it.
Come on.
Master KG, ladies and gentlemen, Juanito Mos.
Juanito Mos.
And he's representing everybody, everybody who wears glasses. We are represented by Master KG. I have to say, though, that the first time that I saw Master KG, I was like, no, it can't be. This can't be the guy that makes us dance so much.
Right? Right? It's him.
Master KG, your looks are very deceiving, brother. Very, very deceiving. Thank you so much, Master KG. What an ambassador of our country. Young people are not just the future, they are the present. And Tumelo, I'm blown away about how diplomacy is such a multifaceted discipline. Early on this evening, we spoke about economic diplomacy. We've just handed over the award to sports diplomacy and cultural diplomacy. But there's another kind of diplomacy that we have yet to touch on, which encompasses the above, which is public diplomacy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Public diplomacy rather is in fact what brought us all together this evening, right? It is a form of diplomacy that utilizes communications through various platforms to influence, to promote, and to establish dialogue between nations and individuals. Now, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, through public diplomacy branch, have set up several platforms to communicate South Africa's foreign policy and, of course, its goals and objectives. But one such platform are these awards, but they also have the Ubuntu magazine, which is available digitally on a digital platform to a global readership and gets distributed, listen to this, in all countries where South Africa actually has diplomatic missions. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there's this.
There's a word in South Africa. Ubuntu, Ubuntu.
Ubuntu Radio. Ubuntu Radio. A better South Africa, a better Africa, and a better world.
It began in 2013. Launched by the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. Won the Ubuntu Media Award, described as a visionary concept and idea, the important tool of DECO's public diplomacy, promoting and communicating South Africa's foreign policy and disseminating information from South Africa across the world. Ubuntu Radio, a product of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, started as an online radio station and spread globally, aims to stimulate dialogue, views and opinions on South Africa's foreign policy, providing accurate and interesting news and views from the continent and beyond, telling African stories from an African perspective, and continues to gain and grow its listenership. Tune in and be part of the conversation. Go to ubuntu-radio.com. We are on TV channel 888 and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Ubuntu Radio ZA.
Radio station at that, an award-winning radio station. So you have the Ubuntu Awards, and then you have Ubuntu Magazine, and then Ubuntu Radio, as you've just seen, which is quite impressive. So, Minister, we await Ubuntu TV. I think logic dictates that there should be a television station that's called Ubuntu. And you already have your two hosts here. Here are the faces. Oh, should we put through a tender document? Should we, Minister? Should we? So it's time for the last award for this evening is the O.R. Tambo Lifetime Achievement Award in Diplomacy.
Now, where do I even begin with this one? Before they even play the video, ladies and gentlemen, can I just mention how I've always admired, with ease, which he used to actually articulate South Africa's foreign policy while serving as our country's deputy minister. This year's recipient is Mr. Aziz Pahad.
Aziz Pahad has been a true servant of South Africa for most of his life. After being served with a banning order, he left South Africa in 1966 to serve the ANC full-time in its UK office and was instrumental in mobilizing the international community to impose sanctions on the South African government. He served as Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. He was instrumental in bringing peace to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, and Angola. For his unwavering commitment to South Africa and his global contributions to making the world a safer, more equitable place. we would like to honor him with the Ubuntu Lifetime Achievement Award. Ted.
There you have it. May I please humbly request Her Excellency Minister Dr. Naledi Pandor to join us on the stage and present the award to Mrs. Pahad. And please, Minister, while you're on stage, please remain standing on stage as Ms. Pahad goes back to her seat.
Of his speech, but if not, I will deliver his speech.
There is one.
Is there what?
Maybe you can send an, early Valentine's message.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of I would like to say better half, but I think we are equal halves. And Aziz Pahad, he's truly disappointed that he couldn't be here personally, Minister, to receive the award. He wasn't well and has been in hospital and just came out of hospital, and the doctors advised him not to travel. I think partly because they were aware that if he did travel, Aziz would be the last person to leave this room. So he really and truly is disappointed that he could not be in person to receive this award, but is extraordinarily touched by the honor that has been bestowed upon him. I don't think that he thought that in the years to come that his contribution to South Africa's foreign policy and to the international world would continue to be respected, recognized, and appreciated. So, Minister, thank you very much on behalf of Aziz. That's all I would say. I do want to say one thing, though, is that if he were here this evening, you would not have had a speech concluded in 2 minutes. Thank you.
President Ramaphosa, Minister Pandor, and other ministers present. The Turco leadership, Ramaphosa, Minister Pandor, and other ministers present. Foreign diplomats based in South Africa, fellow recipients of the Ubuntu Awards for 2022, distinguished guests, thank you for the honor bestowed upon me. I'm really humbled by this award. Many other colleagues remember the challenging days when we worked with the international anti-apartheid movement, one of the most successful solidarity campaigns in history to isolate and boycott apartheid South Africa. This campaign involved millions of people throughout the world. Apartheid resources, apartheid embassies abroad, and apartheid international supporters failed to weaken or destroy the anti-apartheid movements. Since 1994, and of our democracy, South Africa has made impressive strides on the international stage, as evidenced by South Africa's leadership in a range of international and multilateral organs of influence. These were the heydays of South Africa's foreign policy and the promise of a new, better world for our country and continent. However, the world has changed for the worse. Today, the world is facing political, economic, social, cultural, and existential crisis. The relations environment has become more complex and divisive. COVID-19 has accentuated the fault lines of the global community, and we are experiencing vaccine apartheid. Africa continues to be marginalized, and we are experiencing increasing tensions and conflicts on the continent. There is tensions in Europe, including the threat of war. In the East, Israel continues to act with impunity with its apartheid policies against the Palestinian people. That Israel is not committed to a negotiated two-state solution. Israel will continue to act with impunity because the two-state solution is sabotaged by some Arab countries and some Western countries. The South African government must be commended for its consistent support for the just cause of the Palestinian people. We need to better understand the economic, political, and military rise of Russia and China. The is that there is much distortion and fake news. Seek the truth to deal with this reality. That at times like these, the human family remains bound together as never before, as communities of faith brought together by our mutual vulnerabilities, and in abiding sense of solidarity, compassion, and independence. These are essential values that have influenced South Africa's foreign policy since 1994. Profoundly informed by our global landscape and deep inequality. Today, given the challenges humanity faces, South Africa must continue to engage actively in Africa and the international stage. We must build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Africa and a better world.
Congratulations, Mr. Aziz Pahad, a true ambassador, I have to say, Aldrin, when we think about those who represented the country really well.
And very, very, very patient. And Mrs. Pahad, can you please tell him that I said thank you so much for being patient with us as a young journalist. But he absolutely had the patience to teach us about international diplomacy and to make us understand what international relations really mean. And we really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
And ladies and gentlemen, I think even before we move to the next award, it's important to equally, acknowledge those in our midst that have also contributed immensely. One particular name that comes to mind, Eldrin, is Dr. Mogeni Ngema. I mean, he is in our midst. May we please give him a round of applause? He has a special gift for us this evening, and I indeed look forward
taking you down memory lane.
Oh yes,
taking you down memory lane. Minister, are you ready? Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, we have a surprise. So repeat that chair. Repeat that chair. So we have a surprise. I'll let the video do the talking.
Okay.
Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus is an Ethiopian public health researcher who served as both Health Minister and Foreign Affairs Minister of Ethiopia. He is the first African to be appointed as Director General of the World Health Organization. He has committed his entire life to improve access to quality healthcare in Africa, from raising research funding for HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria, to championing universal access to healthcare. He played a critical role in the response to both the Ebola outbreak and the COVID-19 pandemic. He played a critical role in ensuring African countries had access to COVID-19 vaccines. We are proud to honor him with the special Ubuntu Humanitarian Award.
I think it will be difficult for me, like Miss Fahad, to say anything. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much indeed. That's a great, great honor. And I would like to receive this award actually on behalf of my colleagues in WHO. Because from day one, at the start of this pandemic, they have done everything they could. It has been a difficult 2 years. And I know you understand that. But maybe I will tell you a story about them and you will understand what I say. The first report came from a website that's managed by Wuhan municipality in China. And that was on December 31st, 2019. It was a New Year Eve. And our colleagues in our Beijing office sent a signal to our regional office in Manila, and that same day came to headquarters. Any normal human being would think that, okay, December 31st, it's a New Year Eve. You know, these colleagues would have said, okay, it can wait, let's have fun because it's a New Year Eve. They didn't say that. And they continued processing the information they got from Wuhan municipality on the New Year, which is January 1st, 2020. And by January 2nd, they confirmed, verified that there is a new disease starting. For me, that experience, because they were also informing me, was the source of my inspiration and energy. And I felt that I belong to a team that is really serious, that takes its job serious. So, you know, whatever this new disease is, that we have a team that can push forward. So that's what I felt. So thank you for the kind words and the appreciation. But I believe that the recognition belongs to this team that takes things seriously, and from day one, actually did what was right. They were very careful and cautious. That's the first message, and a story which I would like to share with you because it really moved me from day one. And then the second part is why I'm here the last couple of days with Minister Kitter, Minister of Development of Belgium. As you know, we have started a hub in South Africa. A hub for mRNA technology transfer. And when that was decided by WHO, we issued an expression of interest, global application, and many countries have applied, including South Africa. And there were two reasons why we selected South Africa. One, the major gap, the most difficult problems in terms of vaccine equity, and the major gap in terms of production, actually you see it in our continent, in Africa. That's one. But second, South Africa, we believed, was ready and has the potential to host it as a hub. And the reason for that is we have Afrigen, we have BioVac, we have Aspen, we have the Medical Research Council, we have this Stellenbosch University, SERI, and the other institutions under that. And the whole ecosystem, we felt, was very supportive, and there is a great potential to support the mRNA. And I can tell you that we were not wrong, because the last 2 days we have visited with Minister Kitter, we were convinced that, choosing South Africa as a hub for this mRNA technology was actually right.
And maybe to say it in one phrase, what I said after all our visits in Afrigen was, our baby is in good hands. And this hub is not just for South Africa, it's for our continent Africa, and it's for the whole world. And you may have that question, when South Africa applied, many other countries from all over the world applied, like Brazil, Argentina, Indonesia, and others. And you may ask, what happened to them? What we have decided is, if South Africa would be the hub, then the others could be the spoke. So we can have a global capacity to produce vaccines, so the problem of vaccine equity, which is still haunting us, could be resolved. So that's the other issue I would like to tell you. But this is going to be a strategic solution, which I believe can address one of the major problems we're facing during this pandemic. I don't want to go into details of the other problems we're facing. We know there are major problems we're facing, but if we can learn our lessons from this pandemic, we can prepare better. We can manage this one better, and then we can prepare for the future in a better way. But thank you so much to Foreign Minister Pandora and also to His Excellency the President for their not only continental leadership, but also global leadership. As you may know, South Africa co-chairs the Co-Facilitation Council of ACT Accelerator, and you know its leadership in the continental issues, and that's why Africa did better by having a joint or a united strategy from day one in a meeting that I attended in February 2022. Then the second part and last part I would like to say is about the visits we had in other places, like the Vaxi Taxi. I have, by the way, their symbol here. And we have visited also Desmond Tutu Foundation and the community, Philip, and also the Crossroad community and others. And me and Minister Kitter were so touched actually by the level of innovation that we have seen in those communities. Local solutions, community-based interventions, and the ideas, the energy also you see in the community. What we really felt during this visit is that, you know, there are homegrown solutions to address our problems. One thing which we may need to do is share the experiences we have in our continent, in Africa, and using those best practices to really not only fight this pandemic, but we can do beyond. So again, thank you so much indeed. The last couple of days has been eye-opening for me. I haven't traveled much since the pandemic because we have all been hostages of this virus. But the world is now opening up, and we hope that this year will be the end of the acute phase of the pandemic. Of course, we have to reach the 70% vaccination coverage in each and every country, and we have to observe the public health measures. But I believe that the future in South Africa, our continent, and the whole world will be better if really can use this pandemic as an opportunity, because it's not just a health issue. It has exposed everything, the inequities, the inequalities, you know, all the problems that we have, the hunger and other issues. As humanity, I will follow what Foreign Minister Pandor said. Let's be humane to each other and, you know, understand the challenges the world is facing, and it's already completely exposed by the pandemic. Not only we should learn lessons on health, but let's also learn the other, even major problems, the root cause of all our problems, the inequality, racism, and everything, and address that and march forward as one humanity. So sorry, when I take the floor, I should say something, because when I was minister in my country, Ethiopia, the daughter of my colleague minister was asked what the job of her father was, and she said, meetings and talkings. So talking is, so that's in my job description. Sorry, it was a surprise. I was not even ready, but I'm glad to use this opportunity to share some of the stories. And thank you so much for the great, great honor. And thank you also, and all the best for the Rainbow Nation. And thank you so much. Very proud, very proud.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tedros, and I think it was befitting to allow him time to speak. I saw you equally, gushing there alongside me, colleague, when, Dr. Tedros was talking about how they first found out about, COVID-19. I know we had a moment of, right?
Life changed. December 2019. And then in January 2020, things just changed, life changed. And hopefully, like the minister said earlier on, we'll start to live again. But Dr. Tedros, I know it's been difficult for you. It's been very, very tough, but well done on pushing ahead.
Yeah.
I hope that one day there'll be a book that says it all.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Tedros. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I have teased about him, and it's now time for me to deliver. I'd like to call upon to the stage a legend. His name is Dr. Mbongeni Ngema. Enjoy the music while dinner is being served, and we'll come back a bit later.
And of course, the music there of Kajanin Sambolera Moebin ahead of that performance as promised of Dr. Mbongeni Ngema, and the Masters of Ceremony having just introduced a quick break for dinner. We will take you back to the Ubuntu Awards taking place to celebrate those that have played a major role in, as you saw, humanitarian work. Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, the WHO Director General, receiving that award, acknowledging his work, particularly in marshalling the forces. He was a steward for the global order on how to deal with COVID-19. He, in turn, paying tribute to his team, saying that it's because he had a strong team behind him. Of course, he himself has faced some challenges. He ruffled quite a few feathers when he was very stern and firm on his stance that Africa must be acknowledged in terms of the difficulties that it faces and access to vaccine, and pointing out the inequality. And of course, there have been many other things. Earlier on, you saw the wife of Dr. Aziz Pahad receive an award on his behalf. Former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister appointed by former President Nelson Mandela. Later on, he occupied the same position under President Thabo Mbeki, and of course acknowledging him for his public diplomacy work. He's been very instrumental in the formulation of a policy for the African National Congress, especially in terms of internationally, very instrumental in terms of the position we took on the attack on Iraq. And you also had Master KG acknowledged for his influence for the song Jerusalem, saying that it was so infectious that it's being dubbed a vaccine, saying that it is a huge honor for him to receive this award from South Africa, to be acknowledged for this, saying he's received over 60 awards internationally for the song so far. And later on we will have the DIRCO, Department of International Relations and Corporations Minister Dr. Naledi Pandor, who will give her address before the keynote address. It was supposed to be President Cyril Ramaphosa. We understand that it's Minister Mondli Gungubele, the minister in the presidency, who will give that address for the Ubuntu Awards. Welcome to it. You're watching The Globe here on SABC News Channel. I am Tsepiso Mak.
Sarafina. Hey, Rita Sasiki, Los Angeles, Taiwan.
I've been with her for more than 30 years. She's beautiful. She's going to give us a rendition of this song that I wrote for her, Oliver Tambo. It's called Oliver Tambo. It's a rendition that praises all our leaders that contributed so beautifully to our liberation struggle. That's why we're all sitting here today. That's why we're having Ubuntu Award today. Sister V, Velepi.
Oliver Tambo wasekhombisa indlela yenkululeko washiya emhlabeni usuqedile umsebenzi wama-Afrika. Oliver Tambo wasikhombisa indlela yenkululeko washiya emhlabeni usuqedile umsebenzi wama-Afrika. Wejoni makhathini wasikhombisa indlela yenkululeko washiya emhlabeni usuqedile umsebenzi wama-Afrika. Robert Sobukwe wasikhombisa indlela yenkululeko washiya emhlabeni usuqedile umsebenzi wama-Afrika.
Thank you. You know, I was so happy today to see Opera Don Matera being awarded. I was with Don Matera in New York when we opened Sarafina at the Lincoln Center, and Don held me by the hand, myself and Hugh Masekela, and he said, Bongeni, my little brother, you are going to be wooing the world with this production. And I'm glad to announce to all of you that we're taking Sarafina back to Broadway and back to the whole of the African continent. And I am so pleased, I was so really pleased when I saw you talking about Bradon. He was my father. He was my Bradon. Oh man. The African brother, you know, we come from way back. And his spirit will lead us way forward. Nyabonga. Thank you.
Begins to rise. Sarafina, Sarafina, you're the one. Sarafina, Sarafina, you're the one. Sarafina, when you walk in the way you walk, inspiration comes as for God on me. Flowing down. Sarafina, Sarafina, you're the one. Sarafina, Sarafina, you're the one. When you shake your body so, you make my heart fly up, fly. When you shake your body so, you make my heart fly up. Sarafina, Sarafina, you're the one. Sarafina, 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 mama yo. Sarafina, please don't run away from me. I love you, Sarafina.
Joyously celebrate what a heavenly Father gave us in the melodies. Now, let's put our minds and souls and spirits together and joyously celebrate what a heavenly Father gave us in the melodies.
Now, let's put our minds and souls and spirits together and joyously celebrate what a heavenly Father gave us in a melody.
Oh,
now,
together,
let's put our minds and souls and spirits together.
Oh, yes,
and joyously celebrate what a heavenly Father gave us in a melody. The songs that talk to us, if it has a meaning, it will suit you. Day after day, if it has a melody, the beat will make you dance. For songs can talk to us, if it has a meaning, it will suit you. Day after day, if it has a melody, the beat will make you dance. Hotter than fire, the song will bring you joy. God bless the music. God bless the music. God bless the music. God bless the music.
for having afforded us this award, and all the great people of South Africa. Mama Naledi Pando, siyabonga mama, siyabonga. Minister of International Relations, siyakwazi thina ke sibuye mzabalazweni sibuya kude nawe. Siyabonga. Kodwa ke just for you, this one more song. Stimela.
Hayi, usebenza suku shikisha. Baba manje. That's all.
This is the night for you and me. yo. Simela samsa sezola. Simela samsa sezola. Belele mama. 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 Simela samsa sezola. Simela samsa sezola. Belele mama. Belele mama. Yo yo yo. Belele mama. Belele mama. Belele mama. Belele mama. Belele mama. Belele mama. Samsa sezola. Simela samsa sezola. Ayo yo yo. Belele mama. Changa kaneva.
Gentlemen, a round of applause for the legendary Dr. Mbongeni Ngema. A round of applause, please. May I please humbly request that we all take our seats? May I humbly request that we all take our seats, and we're about to commence with our program. Ladies and gentlemen, may I humbly request that we please all take to our seats so we may commence with our program. Again, ladies and gentlemen, may I humbly request that we all take our seats, please, so that we may commence with our program. We're looking at the time. We do not want to keep anyone waiting any longer. It's that important time to hear from the President, Cyril Ramaphosa. May we please respect this time so that we may give the Honorable Minister in the Presidency time to please reflect the message from the President, please. Humbly so. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, wasn't that a trip down memory lane? I mean, I saw everyone turning this venue into a concert, and I do not blame you for 1 second. When Istimela Samsa Sezola comes on, definitely it's a time to have a good time. But I also can't believe we just got to witness Dr. Mbongeni Ngema performing live. Still got it. I saw him raising that leg, dancing. Dr. Ngema, a true legend indeed.
And down memory lane, indeed it was. A bit triggered, I have to admit, a bit triggered here and there, especially when he sung about the liberation that we have been struggling for as a country. And one of those movies that truly stand out for all our diplomats that speaks about the essence of South Africa's struggle is Sarafina. And every single time that that movie is played, I promise you that movie trends, and every single time South Africans are triggered, because it raises so many questions about the liberation and the struggle for this liberation as well, but also how difficult it was to get to the point that we're at now. Earlier on, the minister spoke about the country, spoke about being multiracial, and in the true essence of what South Africa is that we've shown that it is possible. It is possible to reach out to your enemy and say, let's meet around the table and let's have a conversation. And sometimes some people do feel that it is you selling out, but sometimes you need to compromise so that we build a nation and say, thank you to everyone who's been part of the struggle, who's brought us here, and music has also played an integral part to bring us where we are as a country. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to deliver the keynote address on behalf of His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa. Please welcome to the podium the Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gugubele, who's also my former mayor. It's not an interview, Minister, I promise you, not an interview.
Wow. Program Director, our host tonight, Minister Naledi Pandor, usisi wetu, umama wetu, who I'm not supposed to be a keynote speaker after she has spoken, but my institutional location has actually dictated otherwise. You see, to say you're going to make a keynote speech after her, I'm going to be bold, I'm going to make one, Ma'am Naledi. And her special guests, Ma'am Sophie, Velma, and the Foreign Affairs Minister of Belgium, the Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros. I never thought I would be in the same space with you. I feel very much honored. I wanted to take photo with you. There was a stampede. I hope at the end I'll find time. I've watched you warding off the imperialists trying to descend on us, sending us for cleaners, and you stood. And I think we must give you a big hand for that. Director General in the Presidency, all cabinet ministers present, members of Parliament, the Deputy Minister Botes, Deputy Minister Mashiko, in absentia, Minister Mteto, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, and High Commissioners, members of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen, I've been instructed to come here and say what the President wants to tell you. So you must know when I speak, the President is talking to you. It is a great pleasure to be in your midst tonight here in Cape Town, where we've just had the official opening of our Parliament for the year. With this year's event taking place under extraordinary circumstances, from the building where Nelson Mandela delivered his first public address after his release from almost 3 decades in prison. It has been 32 years since that historic occasion. Mandela's release from prison in February not only inspired and ushered in a democratic dispensation for our country, but also resulted in many countries around the world readying themselves to establish and renew ties with South Africa. This after having cut ties and imposed sanctions on the apartheid regime. Their actions were in response to our call as South Africans in the world for international solidarity in the fight against racism and apartheid oppression. The world assisted us by mounting a most inspired global solidarity. As we mark 30 years or 32 years since the release of the old man, we again thank the international community for its contribution to the attainment of freedom in our country. We thank you, Excellencies, ambassadors, and high commissioners for having welcomed many of our compatriots as they sought refuge in your countries during those difficult days. Tonight, as is now becoming tradition after the State of the Nation address, we again gather to recognize South African citizens from all walks of life for their distinguished service and contribution towards promoting the country's national interests and values across the world. We are indeed, open quote, celebrating excellence in diplomacy, working together to build a better Africa and a better world, close quotes. Excellence in diplomacy is personified in the recipient of the O.R. Tambo Ubuntu Lifetime Achievement Award, Mr. Aziz Pahad. We salute him in absentia, especially after listening to that voice, which is very historic to us. Mr. Pahad is a political activist, human rights campaigner, and a friend of the oppressed where they are in the world, wherever they are in the world. We thank you, Mr. Pahad, for your unflinching dedication, bravery, and selfishness. I thank you on behalf of all South Africans for the role you played before and after the attainment of freedom. In your characteristic, open, and fearless manner in pursuit of freedom and equality. Mr. Pahad, you are recognized tonight alongside other generations of South Africans who in their unique ways are our proud and dependable flag bearers on the world stage. To all the recipients, I want you to know that you are the prisms through which the world sees our country. To many in the world who have not had the opportunity to set foot in our country, the deeds of South African people abroad give a glimpse into our country. All the nominees and recipients tonight are South African citizens and companies that represent the best of our values, sharing those values with the rest of the world. South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, is a country of resilient people, and this has been evident more particularly since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. And Dr. Tedros, you played a role in that resilience. Together we have endured setbacks and hardship as a result of ongoing global health pandemic. And together we will overcome. During the initial stages of the hard lockdowns across the world, Master KG and Nomceb was called as Jerusalem inspired and gave the world hope. I'm disappointed though, Mamnaledi, that he was not made to do it here tonight. I hope he's still going to come tomorrow. Promise. The accolades you have received and continue to receive are well deserved. Congratulations once again for tonight's award, Master KG. Excellencies, our ability to gather in this manner here tonight is a testament that we are a tenacious people. Life is gradually normalizing across many sectors as our country rallies forward. As we embark on this forward march, we must have in our thoughts those of our compatriots that we have lost as a result of our COVID-19. As we embark on this forward march, we must remember those most affected and impacted by the pandemic, and we must do everything possible to ensure that the recovery is inclusive. Just before one goes to the conclusion, when I listened to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, our mother, our sister, Mamnaledi, speaking passionately about humanity and finding expression on being what you are to one another as human beings, what came to my mind was, by the way, one of the biggest challenges humanity is facing is to conduct herself as a supreme species in the world in the manner that he or she looks after all other creatures, be it plant to animals. Our supremacy finds expression in the best way we keep the biodiversity. Every time we fail there, the supremacy of our humanity actually stays questioned. That's why the issue of climate change is a test of the supremacy of humanity. I think God gave bigger responsibilities to human beings to look after other animals. And the climate change and how we conduct ourselves is going to be a biggest test to that status. As I conclude, I wish to thank all the Ubuntu Awards nominees and winners for flying the South African flag high across the world. Do not get tired of doing good. In the words of Madiba, open quote, I have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can only rest for a moment, for with freedom comes responsibility, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. Your Excellencies, nominees, your long walk is not ended. We are pausing just to acknowledge the work you've done so far. Thank you very much.
Well, Minister in the Presidency there, Mondli Ngubela, thank you so much for that. And when we speak about the issues of climate change, one thing that we should also take into consideration is that we have a province that's called KZN, KwaZulu-Natal. Some refer to it as a semi-rural province. Some refer to it as a rural province. And every year, heavy storms always hit KwaZulu-Natal. And the effect of those heavy rains is that while many people struggle to make a living, think about how difficult they find it to even afford insurance. You know, the guys from Old Mutual were speaking about insurance a bit earlier on. So when that house is destroyed, it means that that person or that family needs to start from scratch, having absolutely nothing. So when we speak about climate change, it's not about speaking about the upper middle class, it's not about speaking about the wealthy, it's not actually about speaking just about the poor. But climate change affects every single person. Some people have the resources to mitigate climate change, and others don't. So we need to have a conversation about how do we assist those who struggle to mitigate the impact of climate change. It's a very difficult conversation. And I remember, Tumelo, actually reading some research speaking about the impact of climate change and how it also leads to gender-based violence, where some women would struggle to put food on the table, but there is an expectation from their husbands that there must be food on the table. But because the land that they work, unfortunately, is not able to produce that food that is expected to be on the table. So when we speak about climate change, it's not just about the car, but it's also about the family. So let's always take that into consideration, and let's bring much more effort and conversations around the impact of climate change.
Absolutely, and Elgin, just to add on that, I mean, I'm so grateful that the President did acknowledge the work that government is doing and continues to do when it comes to climate change. I think at this point, all of us are responsible to ensuring that we address those issues.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take this opportunity to thank our esteemed panel of judges who met to decide which of the people who have been nominated by you, by the people of South Africa, would ultimately win the awards this evening.
And of course, here tonight, we would like to acknowledge the following: Ambassador Modlomo,
Tebe Ikalifeng,
Ms. Leanne Manas,
also Dr. Stembile Mbete,
Ms. Chichi Maponya,
Mr. Robert Marawa,
and Mr. Clayson Munyela. We thank all of you for availing time in your busy schedules to perform #Country Duty.
#Country Duty.
So what an exhilarating evening it was. I feel so honored to have had the pleasure of presenting such an esteemed event. I wish to congratulate each and every one of our winners this evening. Of course, in attendance, you have inspired us all, including the naughty ones who get laptops and then they become coders. All right. But we'd also like to thank our honored guests, cabinet ministers. Thank you for availing yourself. Deputy ministers, members of parliament, captains of industry, members of the diplomatic corps, everyone in attendance this evening, and those, of course, who are watching at home and listening on Ubuntu Radio.
When are you thanking us?
Yes! The most important people. Without us, I want to thank us. On behalf of us, I want to thank us for ensuring nobody's bored, people are fed.
I hope we didn't bore you guys. I hope that we didn't bore you.
Thanks for the honor.
And as patriots and professionals, as parents and citizens, this evening has reminded us that in everything that we do, we embody the spirit of Ubuntu. We represent our country. We, Tumelo and I, represent our flag.
Absolutely. But Aldrin, you sound like the event is over.
It's not.
No, it's not over. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we actually say farewell, we saw you on the dance floor. We've got candid cameras all around, so we're going to make sure that, of course, you continue to enjoy this evening. We have more music and entertainment from the talented and multi-award-winning Master KG, who is ready to get all of you on your feet. From Aldrin and I, it's a good evening. Good night.
And enjoy the rest of the evening and dancing as well. We'll be taking videos.
Bye-bye.
Well, warm greetings in studio. The event has just come to an end. Quite a very eventful evening, quite a glittering ceremony at the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, awarding and also giving those awards to those Africans or South Africans that were outstanding globally and also in the international front to try and project and promote the culture and the values of South Africans on that global stage. One of the highlights for me that came out tonight is 21-year-old Lesego Finger, who developed a Matric Live app that helped matriculants with their studies. I was talking to him earlier on. He was saying he developed this app and then he continued working. And then after some time during the global coronavirus lockdown, more students started to use his app. Up to 500,000 learners were using his app. That's when he decided he must resign so that he can focus on his work. But then he also understood that most learners do not have money to pay for that app. So he allowed them to use that app for free. Lesego Finger joins us now to talk to us more about that invention. Lesego, talk to us about the reasons why you allowed people to use your app without letting them pay. Let's start there.
Perfect. Before I begin, I just want to rectify something. I'm actually 23. Yeah, I'm actually 23. And to answer your question, you know, I was working a full-time job at 12S as a software engineer. And when the COVID-19 kind of pandemic hit, you can imagine the stress and the impact it had, especially on education. And I had previously built the app like in 2017, and I was still like running it, but also while working. So when our number of users started skyrocketing, especially during the pandemic, because learners are at home and are trying to find alternative ways of learning. So Matric Life was pretty much already there, and the number of users went up. And I realized, you know what? I pretty much have to leave my job because I need to be on the business full-time. So that's exactly what I did. I left my job and worked on the platform full-time, forfeiting my income. And another thing, we understood the economical impact it had, again, on parents, you know. So obviously learners couldn't afford because the app actually had a subscription. So we decided that we're just gonna remove the subscription and make the app easily and freely available to learners.
You won an award here tonight. You were awarded, you were honored. How are you feeling? How did you feel when you received that youth award?
Now, this absolutely feels great, you know. Normally, it's the app that actually wins the awards, you know. So, best educational solution, best breakthrough solution. So, it's the app that normally gets the award. So, this actually feels great to win the award. The last award I won was in 2017, Lead SA Youth Hero. So, this one actually absolutely feels great, especially when you meet all these legends and you're like, wow, am I really part of this? So it actually feels great.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Lesego being an inventor of Matric Live, an app that helps matriculants with their studies who are struggling. We are talking about the concept of Ubuntu, which means humanity. The minister here today inside saying he hopes that what the diplomats have done on the international stage will help and translate to the ordinary citizens of South Africa to be inspired and do something about their lives. Back to you, studio.
All right, thank you very much. My colleague Atule Choka bringing to an end our coverage of the Ubuntu Awards